isn't so much what it says about India, it's what it says about China and really, I think, the failure of Chinese foreign policy over the past decade. I mean, now just in the last year, you've had Burma turn very sharply away from its Chinese patron towards the West. The Vietnamese next week will be conducting naval exercises with the United States. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, the entire rim, Australia, where we're going to be deploying Marines, the entire Asian rim has decided that their fate isn't, or their future isn't better married to an ascendant China. It's containing the rise of a very aggressive and somewhat scary state.
Of course, all of these countries hold, well, most of these countries hold regular naval exercises and war games with India as well. India's relations with those around China's rim.
And they certainly do all with the United States. They all want the insurance policy of the U.S. Navy.
I don't disagree with you about China's failure, the failure of China's policy, but I don't think this was exactly a brilliant move for India's foreign policy. India does this right when we're in the midst of once again having talks with the Iranians, where they've been extremely unhelpful with respect to sanctions on the Iranians, and where we've got a real problem with North Korea again, and North Korea has just launched a rocket that fails. So just at this moment, India really needs to test I
actually think India is not Britain. That's the thing, and it keeps wanting to demonstrate that.
What does that mean?
That it's not going to be a global lieutenant of the United States. So, there is no treaty there, and I mean, I understand your frustration. The timing is not helpful from an American point of view.
Your point being that we're winking at the Indian nuclear program while...
Or just that it makes it so much harder to talk to the Iranians or the North Koreans when they're pointing to another country that is in fact a nuclear power, that of course didn't sign the nuclear treaty, but that nevertheless is saying we can do it, just as it's got other countries around that want to say we too are on the global stage.
But it's actually a moment of clarity. I don't think anyone is going to go to sleep tonight lying awake thinking, oh my goodness, the Indians now have a new missile that can reach China. Why? Because India is basically a responsible and a very democratic power. That's the real issue here. We talk about our problems with Iran and North Korea as essentially legal problems that are potentially in breach of NPT. Our problems with these regimes is that they're awful regimes with barbarous intentions. And it might help clear up some thinking about the nature of proliferation when we say, you know, we don't really mind when India acquires this kind of capability. What we fear is an Iran or a North Korea doing it.
So, Brett, wait a minute. Why exactly was this wonderful, responsible power not willing to impose sanctions on Iran when everybody else is actually giving Iran a major out? I mean, if they're so great and they're so noble, and the Iranians,
they don't want to be Britain, but they do like to be France. That is to